Dearest gentle listener, once upon a time in the bustling city of Lagos lived Amara and Chiki, newlyweds. They had just celebrated their first anniversary. Their apartment in Lekki was modest but filled with love, laughter, and the aroma of Amara's cooking. Amara, a vibrant woman in her late 20s, worked as a digital marketer. Chike, a software engineer, was known for his calm demeanor and unwavering support for his wife. Their love story was one that friends envied, a tale of college sweethearts who defied the odds. However, as the days turned into months, subtle changes began to creep into their paradise. Amara found herself spending more time on social media, particularly Instagram, where her friend, Ifoma, showcased her seemingly perfect life. Ifeoma's posts were a cascade of luxury, weekend getaways, designer bags, candlelit dinners, and surprise gifts from her husband, Kunle. Each image was accompanied by captions like "Blessed to have a man who knows my worth" or "When your hobby treats you like a queen." Amara couldn't help but compare. She began to question why Chike didn't surprise her with gifts or plan extravagant dates. The seed of discontent was sown. One evening, as they sat watching a movie, Amara turned to Chike. "Babe, don't you think we should spice things up? Maybe a weekend getaway or something?" Chike, taken aback, replied, "Of course, love. We can plan something. Is there a special occasion?" "No occasion, just I see other couples doing things, and I feel we're missing out," she said, her eyes not meeting his. Chike nodded, sensing the undercurrents but choosing not to press further. 3 weeks after, Amara met up with Ifoma at a rooftop lounge in Victoria Island. The Lagos skyline shimmered in the distance, and soft Afrobeat music hummed beneath their voices. Ifoma, as usual, was dressed to dazzle, a body-hugging dress, 28-inch bone-straight hair, and her signature red lipstick. She sipped her cocktail and leaned closer, speaking in a hushed but confident tone. "Babe, your man is fine and all, but he's too basic, no offense," she said, twirling her straw. "I mean, I saw that dinner you posted. Home-cooked beans and dodo. Girl, you dey try." Kunle would never. "If I don't get a reservation at least twice a week, I dey para." Amara laughed, weakly. "But Chike is thoughtful. He helps with the dishes, even surprises me with breakfast sometimes." Ifoma rolled her eyes. "Breakfast? Nah, girl. Let that man know you deserve more. If he really rates you, he will show it." The words lodged deep in Amara's heart like a splinter. On the outside, she smiled and nodded. On the inside, something was shifting. She began to wonder, was she settling? Was love enough? As Ifoma posted another selfie with a caption, "Spoiled again by my king," Amara found herself checking her phone. No new messages from Chike. She didn't know it yet, but the comparison had become a silent thief, slowly robbing her of gratitude. One expectation at a time. Chike wasn't a fool. He noticed the way Amara's tone had changed, the way her laughter now sounded clipped, her affection laced with an invisible ledger, measuring and comparing. He heard her subtle sighs when he suggested movie nights at home instead of dinner at La Brioche. He saw her fingers scrolling endlessly, eyes lighting up only at the flash of luxury. But Chike also had his burdens. His company was downsizing. The pressure to perform was mounting. He had taken a pay cut just to keep his job. Every kobo was now accounted for, and he was quietly trying to balance their rent, family expectations, and Amara's comfort. One night, after she went to bed early with another mumbled "I'm fine," Chike sat alone in the car parked downstairs. The AC hummed softly, but it didn't cool the storm inside him. "I'm trying, God," he whispered. "But how do I compete with a fantasy? How do I explain that loving her doesn't always mean spending big?" His shoulders slumped, and for the first time in their marriage, he felt tired. Not just physically, but emotionally. The kind of tired that comes when the one you love starts seeing you as not enough. Still, he didn't say anything. He didn't want to burden her with his fears. And that silence, it would cost them more than words ever could. Amar's birthday arrived with high expectations. She had dropped hints, accidentally sending Chike screenshots of a designer handbag, sharing videos of surprise birthday proposals, reposting celebrity gift reviews. In her mind, she had built up the day like a fairy tale. So when Chike came home with a modest cake, a handwritten note, and a neatly wrapped box containing a wristwatch she once said she liked. Her heart sank. "That's it?" she said, trying to force a smile. Chike blinked. "You don't like it?" She took a deep breath, choosing not to respond. Instead, she began cleaning up the kitchen in stiff, angry silence. Chike stood there, unsure whether to speak or walk away. Later that night, as she scrolled through Instagram, Ifeoma had just posted, "Private chef, rooftop view, and he still says I deserve more. Happy birthday to me." The comments poured in. Amara stared at her own birthday photos. Just 34 likes. Something in her snapped. "You don't even try," she said sharply as Chike entered the room. "Sorry?" he replied, confused. "You knew what I wanted, Chike. You just chose to ignore it. Is it too much to want a little luxury? Something Instagram worthy, something to feel proud of?" Chike sighed deeply. "I didn't know I was in competition with your phone, Amara." The silence that followed was heavy. That night, they slept with their backs to each other, and so the crack deepened. It was Saturday afternoon, and the Lagos sun was harsh and unforgiving. Inside the She-Boss salon in Ikeja, air conditioners blasted at full capacity while women took turns swapping hairs, nails, and most dangerously, secrets. Amara sat under the dryer, her phone buzzing with messages from her married queen's WhatsApp group. The group was created for young wives to share ideas, but had slowly evolved into a glorified comparison competition. Each woman showed off how her husband spoiled her, how her marriage was goals, and how anything less was bare minimum behavior. Earlier that day, Amara had vented in the group. "I swear, this man will not kill me. All I asked for was something special. My birthday felt like a village PTA meeting." Responses flew in. "Leave him small. When he sees you packing your load, he go reset." "Babes, even Kunle be stingy, they try past Chike. Na me talk am, don't let small love blind you." One lady added, "My sister, love without luxury, suffering in disguise." The message hit Amara like a thunderclap. She laughed, but it wasn't the sweet laughter Chike once fell in love with. It was hollow, defensive, loud. Loud enough to drown out the growing guilt she didn't want to acknowledge. Meanwhile, Chike was at home making lunch, clueless of the emotional trial happening under a salon dryer in Ikeja. It wasn't long before Ifeoma, also in the group, sent a photo of a new car her husband had just surprised her with. Caption, "When you choose right, God shows up right." Amara saw it, she stared, then typed out a short, dangerous sentence. "Maybe I didn't choose right after all." That one line would echo louder than she expected. That night, the air in the apartment was stiff, like Lagos traffic after a downpour. Chike noticed her cold tone again. The same routine, but this time something in him refused to stay silent. "Amara," he said as he dropped his bag, "we need to talk." She didn't turn to face him. "I'm tired of feeling like I'm failing you," he said quietly. "No matter what I do, you act like I'm not enough. Is this about your friends again?" "Don't make it about them," she snapped. "It's not about Ifeoma or anyone else. It's about me realizing I deserve more. You used to be romantic. Now you're just available." He paused. Her words hit him in the chest like a slap. "I'm sorry I can't afford luxury gifts right now, Amara. But I've been showing up. I've been here. I've been present. I've been honest. I've been trying. That doesn't count?" "Not when I feel unseen," she said bitterly. Chike stood still, his breath heavy. "Then maybe I'm not the one for you." "Maybe not," she whispered, arms folded. The silence that followed was suffocating. Without another word, Chike turned, walked to the door, and left. And just like that, the door closed behind 7 years of love, laughter, and shared promises. Amara stood there, shocked. She hadn't expected him to leave, but he did, and he stayed gone for a week. 3 days after Chike left, Amara found herself answering a DM she ignored for months. His name was Dimeji, tall, flashy, and smooth like melted chocolate. He had once made small talk under one of her reels and had since continued dropping fire emojis anytime she posted a selfie. Now he was suddenly useful. She agreed to catch up lunch, partly to distract herself, partly to test a theory. Maybe I do deserve better. They met at a trendy spot in Lekki Phase 1. Dimeji pulled out her chair, complimented her earrings, ordered a bottle of wine, and even took pictures of her in good lighting. He was attentive, witty, and loaded. "You're glowing, babe," he said as he handed her a gift bag. Inside was a small perfume bottle designer. "This is how a woman should be treated," he added. Amara blushed. The old her, the Amara before marriage, might have been flattered and cautious, but this Amara, she was too wounded, too lonely, too validated by attention to see the red flags dancing in front of her. As she sipped her wine and posted the bag on her Instagram story with the caption, "The little things matter," her phone vibrated. A text from Chike. "Hope you are okay." She read it, ignored it. After all, she was finally being seen. But not everything seen is worth looking at. Amara returned from her lunch date with Dimeji that evening, still humming the song that played on the car radio, some romantic tune by Chike's favorite artist. Ironic. She sat on the edge of her bed, holding the tiny bottle of perfume like it was a magic wand. One spray, sweet, bold, expensive. She smiled. Then her eyes landed on her phone. Missed call, Chike. Unread text, Chike. It was short. "I'm still willing to talk if you are." She blinked at the message, heart briefly softening. But then, her group chat pinged. Ifeoma had just posted a video from their recent Dubai vacation, gushing over her husband's spontaneous vacation. Amara rolled her eyes and typed, "Some of us are still waiting for just one pair of gold earrings." Laughing emojis followed. One friend said, "Men are either romantic or routine. Choose wisely." In her heart, she knew Chike wasn't the villain. He was just normal, predictable, and for some reason lately, normal didn't feel enough. She looked at the mirror again. Was she really about to lose her marriage over perfume, Dubai pictures, and group chat clapbacks? She didn't have the answer, but regret had already started to perfume the air, sweet and faint, but slowly growing stronger. 2 weeks in, and Dimeji had become a routine. Voice notes, dates, flowers, flirtation. He liked that she was married, said it made her less clingy. She thought he was joking. He wasn't. One Thursday night, Amara called Dimeji, no answer. She called again, straight to voicemail. So like every woman in silent panic, she opened Instagram, and there it was. A tag story of Dimeji at a club. 2 girls seated beside him, one on his lap. The caption, "This guy too fresh, now why babes they rush him?" Amara's stomach tightened. She messaged him, "You are out? I thought we had plans tonight." He replied 2 hours later, Babe, chill, I'll make it up to you, you two dey para." Just like that, she waited, refreshed the charts, nothing. No baby, no sweetheart, just chill. She suddenly remembered the way Chike used to send her random devotionals in the morning, how he would warm her feet under the duvet when she was cold, how he would massage her back without her asking. And now she was texting a club-hopping Casanova who used "Yutude para" as a love language. She sat up in bed. Tears blurred her vision, but pride, it kept her from wiping them. She wasn't just missing Chike now, she was mourning what she had thrown away in pursuit of what glittered, but had no gold inside. Chike had moved into a friend's spare room in Surulere. It wasn't fancy, just a mattress, a fan that creaked like a warning bell, and a shelf of old engineering textbooks, but it was peaceful and lonely. He still checked Amara's WhatsApp status every morning, just in case she posted a quote that sounded like an apology. Nothing, only pictures of food, her hair, perfume, and the occasional hand in a wine glass that he knew wasn't his. His chest tightened each time, but he said nothing. His friends encouraged him to be a man and move on, but he couldn't shake her. He remembered the day he met her in Unilag, how she slapped a guy for trying to lift her wig during rag day, how she later told him, "If you want me, you better come correct." And he did. He came correct, till correction became comparison, and affection became accusation. Still, he missed her badly. One night, while eating noodles and sardines, he pulled out their wedding frame from his luggage and stared at it for 5 minutes straight. "I tried," he whispered to no one. "God knows I tried." He placed the frame on the table. Then for the first time in weeks, he blocked her on WhatsApp. It was his way of saying, "If you want me, come correct." It was Saturday morning when Sister Ronke invited Amara to her women's fellowship. She didn't want to go. She wasn't in the mood for head wraps and hallelujahs. But boredom and guilt had a way of dragging her places she wouldn't normally go. The gathering was cozy, 10 women, worship songs, and a round of prayer requests. When it got to Amara, she cleared her throat, gave a tight smile, and said, "Please pray for clarity and peace of mind." The room hummed with understanding murmurs. Then it was Sister Evelyn's turn. The woman spoke softly but powerfully. "My prayer request is for a friend. She's letting the world define her marriage, comparing, competing, listening to people who don't sleep in her bed or know her husband's heart. I fear she might lose a good man simply because she forgot what she prayed for when she was still single." Mara's spine stiffened. Every word felt like thunder in her chest. The others nodded with furrowed brows, but Amara couldn't tell. It wasn't a parable, it was a direct bullet. After the closing prayer, Sister Evelyn gently pulled Amara aside. She held her hand and said, "Some of us ask God for husbands, not fairy tales. Your friend's Dubai post won't help you raise your children. Your husband's quiet love may be boring, but boring doesn't break vows." Amara couldn't speak, couldn't cry, couldn't argue. She just stood there, nodding like a child scolded in front of guests. That night, she didn't spray her perfume, she didn't call Dimeji, she didn't post a thing. Instead, she opened her wedding journal for the first time in years. Page 1. Lord, even if he's not rich or flashy, give me a man who will love me and put me first. She held her chest. God had answered. She had just traded the answer. Amara invited Dimeji to a gallery opening that Sunday. She wanted to be seen, wanted to revive that fake spark that had started flickering out like a dying candle. He replied late, "I might swing by." He didn't. She went anyway, wore her best dress, styled her hair like old Amara, smiled at strangers like nothing was wrong. But everything was. She could feel it. The compliments from men no longer thrilled her. The envy from women felt hollow. Her laughter sounded unfamiliar, even to her. On her way out, she saw him, Dimeji, by his car, leaning with a woman Amara didn't recognize, laughing, too familiar, too cozy. Her heart dropped, but she held her chin high and walked past like she didn't just see her plan B crashing in real time. When she got home, she opened Instagram. No new messages from him. Instead, her memories showed her a video from a year ago. Chike dancing in the kitchen while making breakfast. Shirtless, goofy, hers. She cried. Not loud, just that silent, suffocating kind of cry where the body shakes and the soul whispers, "You did this to yourself." When Mama showed up unannounced, Amara knew something had shifted. The old woman sat calmly, looking around the quiet house. No Chike, no laughter, just echoes. "Where is my son-in-law?" Mama asked. Amara sat across from her. "We are taking space." Mama scoffed. "Is space now the new recipe for marriage soup?" Amara bristled. "Mommy, you won't understand." Mama leaned in. "Try me." So Amara tried. She explained how Chike didn't buy flowers, how he was too routine, how her new friends had more romantic lives. Mama listened quietly. Then she said, "So because Chike did not buy you Dubai, you packed love and returned home." Amara opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Mama continued, "I married your father with only yam and red oil. He didn't even know how to say I love you till you turned 10, but he built me a home. He washed my wrapper when I had malaria. He stayed, he prayed, he tried." Silence. Then the truth dagger. "You prayed for a real man. God gave you Chike. You tried to remodel him into somebody's Instagram husband. Now look." Mama took her hand. "My daughter, you're not too far gone to turn around." Amara broke in the way only daughters break in front of mothers. The tears fell hard, wetting Mama's wrapper. That night, she blocked Dimeji, and for the first time in a long time, she drafted a text to Chike. But she didn't send it yet. She just wrote it, read it, and cried. 1 week passed. Amara had been rehearsing the words every night. "Chike, I was wrong. Can we talk?" But the words never left her drafts folder. So she thought, maybe if she cooked his favorite meal, jollof rice with fried plantain and grilled chicken, maybe just maybe he would come back. She decorated the table, lit candles, played Asha's Stay Tonight. Every sound at the door made her heart skip. But Chike didn't come. At 8:45 p.m., she called. No answer. At 9:02, she sent a text. "Dinner is ready if you want to come over. No pressure." No reply. By 10, the food was cold. Her heart even colder. And still, no knock at the door. Amara sat back, looking at the 2 plates, untouched. And suddenly she realized she wasn't just battling for her marriage, she was battling her ego. For so long she made herself the prize. But what if? What if she was the one who needed to earn him? She packed the food, placed his portion in a fruit flask, and quietly left the house. She wasn't going to beg, but she would show up. With humility. Chike was at his sister's house. Amara knew because she had asked his cousin, who asked his other cousin, who finally spilled. When she got there, the compound was lively, laughter, children chasing each other. She stood by the gate, hesitant. Then she saw him, through the window. Chike was laughing, really laughing, with his niece sitting on his shoulders and his sister teasing him. It hurt, because she hadn't seen that smile in weeks. Not directed at her, not because of her. She clutched the foot flask tighter. Was she too late? As she turned to leave, the gate creaked. Chike's sister stood there, arms folded. She said nothing, just looked at the flask, then at Amara. Then she opened the gate wider. Amara stepped in. The laughter in the living room quieted when Chike saw her. He stood up slowly, expression unreadable. "I brought dinner," she whispered. He nodded. No smile, no sarcasm, no venom, just a simple "thank you." He took the flask and turned back into the house. And Amara? She stood there, still outside, still unsure. His sister touched her arm. "You should come in." But Amara shook her head. Not yet. She needed him to know she was willing to come back, without dragging him out. That night, she didn't sleep. She waited for a message. Instead, she got a picture of an empty food flask. Thanks, it tasted like old times. She cried into her pillow like a teenager with a high school crush, because somewhere in that message, hope returned. 2 Sundays later, Amara attended church, alone. She sat in the middle row, blending in, watching, waiting. Then something unexpected happened. During testimony time, her old classmate Ada stepped forward. Ada, the same Ada who always posted couples devotionals with captions like "when your man is your priest." Amara braced herself for another display of perfect rivalry, but what came out was raw. "I almost ruined my marriage this year," Ada began, voice trembling, not with another man, not with bad behavior, but with comparison. "I kept asking my husband to do what Kofo's husband did, what Instagram showed me love was, until he finally said, 'I'm not them, I'm me, and if I'm not enough, let me go.'" The church was silent. Amara blinked. Ada continued, "God didn't give me a hashtag, he gave me a human, and I nearly lost him trying to make him go viral." That line hit Amara so hard, she nearly choked on her own breath. After service, she found Ada, and for the first time in years, no pretense, no highlighter, no filters, just woman to woman. They hugged, longer than normal. Sometimes shame becomes lighter when it's shared. That evening, Amara finally sent a message to Chike. "I want to start over with the real you, if you will have the real me back." She waited. This time, he replied instantly. "Dinner, my place, 7 p.m. No emojis, no flourishes, just the kind of message her old self would have rolled her eyes at. But now, it was everything. At exactly 7:01 p.m., Amara knocked on Chike's door. He opened it before she could knock twice. No smile, no coldness, just Chike. She stepped in and saw that the room had changed. It wasn't messy anymore, but it wasn't polished either. It was lived in, real. He had made ogbono soup with pounded yam. Her heart warmed. Chike never liked ogbono. He only made it because she loved it. They sat on the floor with the tray between them. The TV was off, no music, just them, and the silence between them. For the first time in months, they didn't talk at each other, they just talked. She told him about the church testimony. He told her about the night he almost texted "I'm done" to her mom instead of her. She laughed nervously. "Your mother would have fought you." "She already did," he replied. They both laughed this time, and it was the kind of laughter that was heavy, because it was carrying pain and forgiveness and regret and relief. They didn't try to define what was happening. No "are we back together" talk. Just dinner, just them. Before she left, he walked her to the door. "Do you remember our first year?" she asked suddenly. He smiled faintly. "How can I forget? We couldn't afford a fan, and you fanned me with a magazine for 3 nights straight." He laughed. "Those days were real," she said softly. "I miss real." "So do I." And with that, she left. No kisses, no promises. But this time, the goodbye didn't taste like the end. 1 week later, Chike's auntie Ifoma paid them a surprise visit. Auntie Ifoma, the woman who once slapped her husband at a burial for calling her ordinary woman, the woman who ran 3 businesses, 4 WhatsApp prayer groups, and 1 local gossip circle. She barged into the house with a plastic cooler and a suitcase. "I came to settle Una," she declared. Amara blinked. "Settle what? This your halfway marriage. You think I don't know that you people are doing situationship? My friend, sit down." They obeyed. What else could they do? She removed her wig dramatically. "Chike, you are not a flower. Stop waiting to be watered. And Amara, stop using feminism to form wickedness. Marriage is not oppression. It's 2 fools growing wise together. Do you hear me?" Amara gasped. "Auntie, don't auntie me. I told my own husband if we die together, it's not because we didn't fight. It's because we chose each other again and again. Like bad network, we refuse to change." They burst into laughter. Then Auntie Ifoma's tone softened. "You see, This generation likes aesthetics, but real marriage is ugly. It's snoring, it's toilet issues, it's one person crying while the other one is pretending not to cry. If you can't survive that, forget weddings. She cooked, forced them to eat, prayed for too long, and finally left the next morning. And oddly enough, they felt lighter. Maybe it was the laughter, or maybe it was knowing someone still believed they had a shot. A few nights later, the final test came. It started as a conversation about groceries, but somehow it spiraled. You never buy what I ask you to buy, Chike. And you still don't listen to anything I say, Amara. Within minutes, old wounds reopened. Voices rose. Past mistakes flew like darts. You wanted me to be Kofo's husband, and you wanted me to be a housewife with opinions but no voice. Silence. Then, tears. But this time, neither of them walked out. Chike sat down first, head in his hands. I don't want to lose you, he said, voice cracking. But I don't want to lose myself either. Amara knelt beside him. I don't know who I was becoming, but it wasn't someone you could love. They cried together. They talked. Months passed. The drama faded, like the echoes of a loud storm that had raged long into the night. Now, Amara and Chike lived quieter lives, but truer ones. Their home wasn't perfect. Sometimes Chike still forgot the trash. Sometimes Amara still got in her feelings before thinking things through. But now, they didn't fight to win. They fought to understand. Their weekends were less about outings and more about shared space. They took evening walks, sometimes in silence, sometimes with loud banters. They cooked together again, even if it meant burnt stew and oversalted rice. Amara deleted the Kofo comparison thread from her notes app. She stopped watching couples podcasts that made her feel like her marriage needed a full-time HR department. And most importantly, she learned this. Not all good marriages look alike, but all bad marriages start the same way. When you stop seeing the one you love and start seeing who they should have been. Chike started therapy. She joined him sometimes. Together, they rebuilt, not with cement and bricks, but with intentionality, with humility, with apologies, with laughter. Their marriage was no longer a performance, it was a process. And every day, they showed up again, not because of feelings, but because of commitment. Not because it was easy, but because it was theirs. So, to you watching this tale, my dearest gentle listener, to the ones who think marriage must always look like filtered Instagram posts, or those who think conflict means failure, or those who've let outsiders sit in the driver's seat of their relationship, this is your reminder. Comparison is a thief. Pride is a fire. Outsider opinions are raindrops that become a flood if you let them in. But if you guard your love, water it with grace, and choose it again, even when it's not glossy or picture perfect, then maybe, just maybe, you'll find that the best marriages aren't the loudest. They are the ones that stay standing after the storm has passed, because they were built not to be admired, but to be lived in. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more tales on this channel.